that you've sort of gotten to scale, and almost 400 million enrollees, and sort of started to get the applications out in some sense by, if we unravel what you mean by an ecosystem, there seems to be some sort of central, things that are difficult to delegate, or sort of where there are economies of scale, like creating a process for banking or creating the technologies, have been done centrally. And then partners who have a stake in the improvement of the system are sort of brought in. And you're sort of ceding control over capital expenditure and hiring, sort of to where, to where it would be efficient. And so all of these seem to be features that would be sort of good to start to translate to applications beyond ID to the other parts of India.
No, I think this model, as you rightly described, having a small group that drives strategy, drives standards, drives interoperability, drives the sequencing, and then create this scale platform is while it was very because it was an idea thing, it made a lot of sense. But in theory, if one wants to roll out a massive health delivery platform, you could use the same concept. So I think many of the concepts that we have used actually could be applied to many large-scale public delivery requirements.
Yeah, because it's a contrast that comes up a lot when we're India and China get discussed a lot, sort of in the same conversations. As sort of 5 decades from now, who will be the sort of leaders of the world economy, and a contrast that people often draw between India and China is that there's a perception that China has much better infrastructure, and India is a free market democracy, and in some sense China's superior infrastructure is considered an advantage. India's sort of system of government and the economy is considered an advantage. And to me, it's always seemed to me that these two things are related. That is, in a free market democracy, perhaps there are greater challenges to sort of massive rollouts of infrastructure in a short period of time. And so, one of the things that I really find appealing about the UID authorities model is that you're sort of demonstrating how a free market democracy can take advantage of its sort of political institutions and sort of economy to achieve the same sort of rapid scaling.
That's right.
That a centralized sort of less democratic government can do through other means.
And I think the trick here is to be very clear and very disciplined about what is it that you do in the government and what is it that you leave to innovators.
Okay.
Because you have to design in a minimalistic manner such that you have a flexible architecture which allows other players to add to it.
Okay.
But if you make it too thin, then it won't achieve its goal. Okay. So getting the right balance of that platform thickness.
So how do you strike that balance? Because not everybody can hire someone like you to sort of run the.
No, I think it's really by saying.
Have to scale it.
No, I think the question is, if you look at a particular goal, you apply the test. Is this goal possible through the market or not?
Okay.
And if it's possible to do it through the market, then probably figure out a way for them use the market to get that goal. On the other hand, if there's a goal which market can't do, then that's the goal that you need to do. For example, standards, interoperability.
Yeah.
A market player is not going to do that because a market player will look at optimizing his revenue and his profit and create proprietary barriers and all that. So I would leave the standard definition to the market. I would therefore treat the standard definition of interoperability to the government side of it. For example, one of the things we've done is we have defined a complete layer of interoperability on all financial transactions, which allow when these cash transfers go and hit people's bank accounts, they can go to any agent of any bank to withdraw the money.
Okay.
So that's a huge leverage because you then get the network effect. So if I have 100,000 locations on this grid, then I as a customer can go to any one of those people to withdraw my money. Right? Now that's hugely empowering for the individual and convenient because they can go anywhere. Now to get that effect, I have to have an interoperable network.
Okay.
So everyone's agent should be able to talk to everybody else's agent. And that no private guy is going to define that. So that's what we do. So you constantly have to think about what should be in the public domain, standards, interoperability, all that stuff. And then once you define that and once you create a level playing field, then you create a market mechanism for the rest.